Lin-Manuel Miranda Goes to Hollywood.
Julie James, Broadway names. Hello.
Hello, and congratulations.
Thank you.
On this really, really magical experience. You have a theatrical background, you've performed all of your life, you went to school, but no one's ever necessarily taught you how to do a film. Was that a cool adventure for you to learn on the job?
It absolutely was. And I think the biggest thing I learned is that the one-of-a-kindness of each day is what forces you to be present on film. Like, we're not coming back to Buckingham Palace for 2 shows tomorrow. Right. This is your chance to get it. Meryl Streep's here this week. So that becomes the energy source in a way the audience is on stage.
How did it feel for you to become a leading man in a Disney musical?
I mean, unreal, and I felt right at home because we had one of our own in charge, Rob Marshall.
Yes.
We had 9 weeks of rehearsal on this thing. Broadway shows don't get 9 weeks of rehearsal. And so by the time we were filming, we were a company. And I give Rob so much credit for seeing me in this part because, Jack is sort of this paragon of childlike innocence and wonder.
What was your connection to Mary Poppins? Do you have the same sort of feels that we all have about her?
Yes, because how she's by osmosis sort of permeated everyone's childhood is pretty amazing.
I was so obsessed as a child with the first Mary Poppins film.
Really?
Yeah. Just doted on it, just couldn't get enough of it.
I don't really remember a time in my life that I didn't know this movie inside and out.
It's a deep part of me, first film I ever saw.
So yeah, of course, it was sort of a huge responsibility to honor that and yet carve out new space, and what's the next chapter? What's my version of her going to be?
Yes.
But I just tried to allow the delight at playing this completely delicious character to maintain a sort of intimacy for me. And I love the music so desperately, and I just think Marc Shaiman and Scott Whitman did a phenomenal, sort of impossible job.
These are the new classics.
There you go, you said it.
They are the new we went from Chim Chimney, Chim Chimchery to all of these
Triple
wonderful
Little Light Fantastics.
I'm going to just ask you to take us through what I believe to be one of the great new all-time classics. Can you parse that down for us a little bit?
Well, I have to say, when John Jaluka and I approached this piece, it was honestly something we'd always wanted to do. I'd always wanted to do a big production number with athleticism and guys that has scope to it, with many sort of different locations to it, because it's a journey number that takes us to a big dance number with a lot of stunt work too, incredible bikers, parkour, brilliant stuntmen and children, and Emily and Lynn. This was a dream, this kind of production number. It's the numbers I grew up with. It's Consider Yourself from Oliver. It's those kinds of things that I honestly wanted to pay great homage to those musicals of my youth. Mary Poppins, of course, My Fair Lady, Oliver, Sound of Music, all of that, and bring it to film. And this was my opportunity. You don't get chances like this often.
Right.
Especially with this extraordinary character, that's so interesting and so wonderful, and this world that she creates.
Everybody came to work every day with that same feeling of love and protection of the original, and feeling like we're being given the opportunity that carries a responsibility, but to create something beautiful and magical and necessary nourishment for the world.
I feel that sense of childlike wonder coming back to me.
Well, that's exactly what we all felt in the making of the film, and what we'd hoped we could put out into the world. There's so much to create in a musical film in particular that you need someone at the helm whose vision, and in this instance passion, is so clear and so strong that when you assemble the most extraordinary group of designers and gorgeous actors and musicians, that they're painting the same painting.
And with Dick Van Dyke, I will say this right now, there's no one like him. And to have him grab me as we walked onto the set the first time, and he said to me, I feel the same spirit here on this set that I did on the first film. And that was it for me. That was it. I was like, okay, no, I've accomplished what I set out to do. I see this in your eyes, Julie. This was made for you, and it's made for the child in all of us. And that's my great hope, that the message of this film is this message of hope and light and seeing things with a sense of childlike wonder and joy. You know, that really, and to me, that's a very profound thing in the world.
Indeed.
Especially right now. So
Indeed.
that's
And
important.
I can't wait to have these treasures to
Oh,
be playing
gosh.
on SiriusXM on Broadway
Oh,
forever.
great. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, man. Preparing the whole shoot for this. We're ready.